After stopping at a few intersections in South Pasadena, we finally merge onto the freeway. Okay, it was blistering hot by the time we headed out, but as we fly down the road, I am so freaking cold. I can feel the ends of my yellow dress whip around my knees. I end up hugging Eli's back a little tighter to keep myself warm. In no time, we're speeding onto the shadow of skyscrapers and cutting right through downtown LA. For real, I'm so grateful when we meet the usual traffic jam at the exit that leads out of the city, because we slow to a complete stop. I can see our warped reflections in the bumper of the car in front of us. I must be holding on to Eli really tightly because he takes off his helmet and looks over his shoulder at me with concern.
Are you alright?
He asks. I'm fine, I say, glad that the visor on my helmet is hiding my shaking jaw. I don't let up on my grip around him, though. I can feel the sun now, but it'd warm me up way too slowly by itself. Eli catches the tremble in my voice. His face falls with something like embarrassment and something like care.
Oh, hold on one moment,
he says. He gently pulls out of my grasp and he proceeds to unzip his sweater. He hands it to me.
Here, Kelly Goldstein. This should help with the wind chill.
There is no way I'm taking that, you dork, I say through a stupid teeth chatter. And for 3 reasons. 1, it's one of the ugliest sweaters I've ever seen. 2, you've been wearing it for 2 days straight. And 3, you'll be cold then, so no.
I won't be cold,
Eli says, ignoring my first 2 points completely.
Please take it.
I look at him for a second before gingerly taking it. He flashes a satisfied smile at me and turns back to look at the car in front of us. As I put on his sweater, I watch Eli's foot hold up the bike while we wait in traffic. We roll along inch by occasional inch. After a while, I copy Eli and take off my helmet. My poofy hair was packed into it wrong or something, so I'm so happy I'll get a second chance to put it on a little better. Now that the helmet's off, I'm noticing that cigarette smell on the sweater he gave me. I look at the back of Eli's head, wondering whether or not I should ask him about it, but I decide against it. I lean over and tap Eli on the shoulder, which makes him turn to look at me. So you're taking me to see the flowers? I ask him, squinting in the sun. Eli shifts to look at me and nods with a smile. I go on. Okay, but where? I just realized I don't even know where we're going. Eli beams back at me, straightens his glasses, and says,
It's a secret, Kelly Goldstein.
A secret, I repeat with a little more annoyance than I thought I'd have. You mean I'm just supposed to sit here and not know where we're going for however long it takes us to get there?
Will you?
Eli asked through an uncertain smile.
I want to surprise you.
You haven't been doing that all morning.
Please?
He says a bit pathetically. Okay, it's so stupid, but another one of those little lights goes off in me somewhere hearing this. As I look at his blue eyes, I think of Truffles sitting by the backyard door and looking up at me to let him out. Fine, I tell him, opening the purse on my hip. Eli brightens and turns back to the road. I pull out my iPod and start to put in my earbuds. I lean over and say, Can I at least know how long the ride is?
To be honest with you, I have no idea.
Eli says. OMG, what? Don't you know where you're going?
Yeah, I just never timed it out. It's a pretty long drive, I just don't know how long. It's wonderfully scenic, though. Well, the last part is.
Eli, sorry, you really are hopeless. I scoff, moving the back switch of my iPod from off to shuffle. You are so freaking lucky I brought my bag with me. I mean, long rides without music are such a bummer.
Without music?
Eli asks, turning to look at me again. When he catches sight of my iPod, his expression lights up a little.
Oh, you have an iPod Shuffle, Kelly Goldstein,
he says. You don't? I laugh.
No, but I sorely wish I did. I mean, the radio isn't so bad, but it must be nice listening to what you want, when you want, without the ads.
I pause for a second after hearing this. Huh. I guess there are some things that I have that I kind of take for granted. Eli goes on.
What do you listen to?
Oh, lots of stuff. Kelly Clarkson, the Black Eyed Peas, 5 for Fighting, Maroon 5, lots of stuff.
Maroon 5?
Eli asks with a smile.
Have you listened to She Will Be Loved?
Of course, you dork. I grin. OMG, who hasn't?
What do you think of it?
It's only one of my favorite songs ever.
Really? Me too. You mentioned 5 for Fighting too, didn't you?
Yeah?
What do you think of 100 Years?
OMG, I love that song so much. It's so freaking good, like, for real.
I love it too.
OMG, really?
Yeah, I can't decide whether or not it's a commentary on the value of juvenescence or an exposition of the ignorance in it. Or maybe it's both. What do you think, Kelly Goldstein?
I blink it in for a second. After a while, I send him a smirk and say, or maybe it's just a killer tune, you dictionary. A tiny blush colors Eli's face as he looks at me. Then he smiles a small smile.
Yeah, maybe.
He replies. So I'm guessing you can't listen to music when you drive? I ask him.
Bikes don't really have radios,
He says.
so no.
I smile at him. Lean back, loser, I say, taking out my right earbud. Eli blinks at me with confusion, but he does what I ask. I don't expect to, but I hesitate for a second as I look at where his right ear should be, covered with black hair. I'm quick to get myself together, however, and I gently pull back the hair over his ear. I put in the earbud. So, I start. I don't know how well this is going to work with the helmets and all, but let's try it, okay? I mean, you did ask me what I listen to, so here's the best way to get the answer.
Oh, okay.
Eli replies somewhat bashfully. I press play. OMG, it's so awful. Like, I flinch when the first song that plays is Accidentally in Love by Counting Crows. Eli's turned his head back to the road, so I don't know what his expression looks like. I blush a little and try not to think about it, putting my arms back around him, still holding on to my helmet with one hand. I mean, there's no way I'm going to draw more attention to it by skipping it. The traffic gradually starts to clear up. Surprisingly, when we finally have to put our helmets back on, no problems come with it. Like, my earbud wires are so long, the helmets don't disturb them at all. I see Eli pull back the right handle on his bike, and we start to speed up. I'm still cold, but Eli's sweater is making the wind way more bearable. Okay, like, it's really stupid to say it, but as we fly down the highway, I've never felt more alive. Like, for real, I can't get enough of this feeling. It's like freedom or something. I feel myself relax against Eli. I'm so glad I'm wearing a helmet right now because I'm smiling so much, I'm sure he'd be able to feel it on his back if I weren't. We go on for miles and miles. I watch as we pass under one towering palm tree after another, and as we zoom by the tops of other trees growing on the ground between the freeways. The sky is a perfect shade of blue. The music's still going in our ears. Okay, I don't know if it's because I have way too many sappy songs on my playlist or something, but I start to feel kind of emotional. I mean, I'm somehow both happier and sadder than I've ever been in my life. My heart's acting up again, and of course it is. But this time, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, it's not like I can send Eli into the kitchen to get a masking tape for his glasses. Like, I'm literally holding on to him for dear life. Ugh. No matter how much I wish it weren't true, I know that Eli is the reason why it's flapping and fluttering so badly. My heart, I mean. And as I hug his back, I'm forced to realize it in a way I haven't been able to until now. I don't know how it happened, but like, it's so weird and embarrassing and awful and somehow perfect. Ugh. I don't have to say it right. I mean, you get what I mean, don't you? Look, if I say it out loud, it'll be too hard for me to deal with or something. You know what? Maybe if I just keep my mouth shut about it, it'll go away on its own. I mean, it's not like it's going to last forever, right? Like, how could it? It's too freaking weird to last. Yeah, whatever this is, it'll probably only stick around for a few days or something. For sure it's a phase, just like flares and fluffy hair. Right? Yeah, that sounds about right. I'm pulled out of my thoughts when I suddenly spot the ocean on the horizon. I blink at it in shock, and I crane my neck to get a better look at it. OMG, it really is the ocean. I mean, I think we're in Santa Monica. I feel myself start to smile like crazy. I haven't seen the beach since last summer vacation, and the sight couldn't be more welcome. I don't know if I said this yet, but I freaking love the water. Like, even though I'm warming up to River Road a little, I'm still super bummed that we don't have a pool like Chesterton does, because if we did, I'd join the swim team right along cheerleading. right alongside cheerleading. For real, there's no better feeling in the world than sweeping your arms and legs through the water and feeling like you weigh half of what you are. We come to a red light at an intersection where a bunch of shops sit across the street from the beach. I can't help my excitement, and I lean over and say, OMG, Eli, where are we going? Like, why are we in Santa Monica? Are you taking us to the beach or something?
No, not the beach,
Eli says, looking over his shoulder. Ah, bummer, I say. I really love the beach.
Really? Well, now that I know that, that could be our next trip. If you'd like to go on another one, that is.
I smile. The light turns green and we start to move. Before we pick up too much speed, I go on. Eli?
Yeah?
Can't you just tell me where we're going? I mean, now I'm curious and stuff. Like, do you have to keep it a surprise?
I'd like to, if it's still feasible.
Well, can you give me a hint or something? Like, is the place you're taking me here in Santa Monica?
It's in Malibu,
Eli says, making my eyes go wide with shock. I blink at the back of his helmet for a second, but it isn't long before I let out a scoff of a laugh. Malibu? For real? I say.
Yes, that's right,
Eli answers. It's all over his voice that he's pleased with himself about whatever the surprise is. I smirk at his tone, and I go back to hugging him and looking at the road under us. You know, I've never been to Malibu, I say.
No?
No. I've always wanted to go, but my mom hates being more than a 30-minute drive from her work. Like, for real. 30 minutes is her absolute maximum, even when we're supposed to be on vacation. I tell him, remembering the year we first moved here and when Mom tried to take off the 4th of July to be with us. We'd just gotten to Santa Monica Beach, and Dad got us some shaved ice when Mom announced that she had to take the car back to LA because of some emergency at the office. Just FYI, Mom forgot to bring the car back, and Dad had to get us a taxi home. Remembering this puts a tiny sinkhole in my mood. Trying my best to forget the picture of Mom running up the beach in her white pants, I continue. You already said it's not a beach, right?
Yes, that's right.
Ugh, well, what else is in Malibu? I can feel Eli smile even though I can't see his face.
I hope you like it, Kelly Goldstein,
he says. A few minutes go by and we roll into a super nice shopping district. I can see a group of girls all with colorful paper shopping bags use a crosswalk towards a huge courtyard with a fountain. The streets are lined with palm trees and birds of paradise, and there are strings of lights going from one building to another like party streamers. OMG, it's so freaking cute here. And I totally need that white leather jacket I saw in that one shop window. I make a note of this place so that I can bring it up to Tiffany the next time she drives us to an outing destination. That's when it happens. OMG, it's so freaking awkward, but I suddenly really need to use the bathroom. I try to ignore it in the vain hope that I magically won't have to if I wait long enough, but this doesn't work at all. I bite the inside of my mouth as I stare at the passing road. I somehow convince myself to bring it up. We come to a stop at another red light, and I tug on Eli's sleeve to get his attention. He turns to look at me.
Yes, Kelly Goldstein?
He says. Can we, stop somewhere really quick? I ask, hoping I won't have to say anything else.
Oh, okay. Why?
Great. I mean, that's just great. Why? OMG, why do you have to ask why? I try to shove down my inhibitions, but I can feel myself starting to blush anyway. I kind of need to use the bathroom. I mumble out as quickly as I can. Okay, I don't know what's worse, having to say it or hearing the super flustered reply that comes out of him.
No problem. Yes, we can stop for as long as you need. Not that you'll need a long time. We can stop somewhere.
OMG. Even though I'm wearing a helmet, all I want to do is hide my head under a blanket. My blush heats up. I settle for squeezing my eyes shut. Eli sticks out his right arm to signal right. I guess the backlights on his bike don't work. Before long, we're pulling into the parking lot of a small cafe. Eli flips a switch on the right handle of the bike and pulls the key out of ignition. I clear my throat and start to take off my helmet. Thanks. I say as quickly as I can, taking out my earbud and putting the iPod into his hand. Without looking at him, I get off the bike and run into the cafe. When I pull open the glass door, making a little bell go off, I can see Eli start to take off his helmet in my peripheral. OMG, this cafe is freaking adorable. Like, it's beach themed, so their front... Like, it's beach themed... Like, it's beach themed, so their front counter is shaped like a surfboard. Plus, there are these big seashell imprints on the walls near the booths. Even the bathrooms are beachy. I mean, there are straw mats in them, and the stall doors are made of that bamboo stuff. When I finally get to wash my hands and look in the mirror, I also notice that they got hula girls on the sinks. Ugh. I wish that was the only thing I noticed, though. For real, my reflection is kind of depressing me. Like I said before, my face looks so bad when I don't wear makeup. My skin's not brown enough to hide the bluish veins on my forehead, and my hazel eyes look way too small without mascara. Plus, I feel like my eyebrows turn into giant caterpillars if I don't pluck them every day. And, OMG, I know I said that I thought my hair was cute the way it was this morning, but now that I'm really looking at it, I swear I'm gonna buy a straightener before the day ends. Then there's my lips. OMG, the lipstick that I use makes them look so luscious, but without it, they look like awkward, slightly pink, rubbery clown lips or something. Not to mention that Band-Aid's still there, acting like a freaking cherry on top in this world's ugliest girl look. I groan out at the mirror. I open up my bag to get out my lipstick to see if I can try and fix at least my lips, but I pause after taking off the cap on the tube. Before I know it, I'm sighing, putting the cap back on, and sticking the tube back in my purse. For real, I feel so hideous, I don't even want to try. I walk out of the bathroom, and I'm surprised to see Eli leaning up against a booth nearby, eyes glued to his feet. He's awkwardly holding my iPod in his hands, folded in front of him like he's freaking Cinderella holding a rag or something. He notices me as I come out, and he stands up fully as I approach him.
Here's your iPod shuffle, Kelly Goldstein,
he says, extending it to me. Thanks. I start to put in my earbuds and walk towards the door, but Eli suddenly grabs me by the hand. It's so weird, but I blush almost instantly. I turn to look at him. He's biting his lip and still staring at his shoes. He squeezes his eyes shut and does that inhale, and what he says comes out like one word.
I just noticed that it's 11:17, so I thought it'd be prudent to ask you if you'd like to stop here for lunch before heading to Malibu.
I blink at him, looking at his face that's gone from pale to red in a matter of seconds. I'm still kind of distracted by the fact that he grabbed my hand, and I can feel my eyes darting from our hands to his face as I respond, "Oh, okay. Sure." There's a super awkward pause. OMG, he isn't letting go of my hand. Actually, as we stand there for a second, he holds it just a little bit tighter. I can feel some people starting to look at us, and I bite my lip while my blushing gets worse. Eli? I say.
Kelly Goldstein,
He suddenly says a little too loudly, making me jump in his grasp. OMG, now they're really starting to look. I blink at him. What?
Kelly Goldstein,
He trails off, face going from red to vermilion. Then he does it. One of the most retarded things I've ever seen anybody do. He moves from holding my hand to freaking shaking it. OMG, he's shaking it the way someone would if I won the lottery or something.
I need to get you a coffee,
He finally says, still shaking it. I blink at him in embarrassed shock. After darting my eyes from one amused face to another in the booths and tables around us, I manage to answer. Okay, why don't you do that then?
Okay,
He responds, finally letting go of my hand and hurrying over to the order line like a retard. I watch him with the strangest mixture of amusement and pure horror. After a final glance at all the eyes we managed to get, I clear my throat as quietly as I can and awkwardly put myself in the booth right next to me. I finish putting in my earbuds and pretend to look super invested in choosing a song. Thankfully, I can feel people start to go back to what they were doing. In only a minute, I see Eli put himself in the seat across from me with something in his hands. Trying my best to push down my embarrassment, I look up at him and take out my earbuds. Head down and eyes focused on his lap, he pushes a travel cup of something towards me.
For you,
he mumbles. His glasses start to slide a little, and he adjusts them, still without looking at me. Thanks, I say really slowly, taking the drink. What is it?
It's a quad-shot caramel cappuccino,
Eli replies. My eyes widen, and I look down at the drink. My heart's starting to beat a little faster. Eli goes on.
I know it's not from Joe Byron's, but I hope it's still good.
I pause for a longer time than I expect to, looking at him. A warm bubble starts to grow in my chest, and I find myself smiling a small smile at him. You remembered that, Eli? I ask him. Eli pulls his head to look up at me. I don't expect his surprised expression.
Of course, Kelly Goldstein, he says. I wouldn't have asked you about what you liked if I didn't want to know, and I wouldn't know it anymore unless I remembered it.
I smile at him a little bashfully. Thank you, I say. I look at him a little uncertainly before taking a sip of the drink. It's good, I tell him. I'm suddenly met with Eli's crooked teeth as he flashes the most wonderful smile at me. Okay, it's so weird, but he puts his elbows on the table and his chin in his hands, and then he just looks at me. I smirk with confusion. OMG, the look on his face is so weird and kind of cute. Like, he's looking at me like he's... OMG, what even is that? What? I laugh.
I don't know,
he answers a little dreamily. Wow. It's so weird, but all of a sudden... Okay, I swear this is so freaking stupid, but I suddenly feel like really beautiful or something. I mean, Eli's looking at me like how a cartoon character looks at someone they're crushing on. I swear, like, any moment now, he's going to start swinging his feet under the table. Maybe he is already, I don't know. Looking at his uber goofy expression, I end up both blushing and laughing. What about you? I ask him.
Huh?
Like, aren't you going to get something too?
Something.
Eli mumbles, still lost in a daydream and still smiling at me with his chin in his hands. I push his arm a little bit, letting out a scoff of a laugh. OMG, knock it off! I tell him, not meaning it even remotely. He laughs a little when I push his arm, and he comes out of whatever that was. I go on. Like, go get some food or something, you dork.
Oh, okay.
Eli says, getting up. He pushes in his glasses and asks,
Do you want anything?
Oh, that's okay, I tell him. I take another sip of my cappuccino and go on. Like, I'll get something for myself in a bit.
No, you won't,
Eli suddenly says, making me look at him.
Whatever you want, I want to get it for you, Kelly Goldstein. Let me.
I look at him for a moment, but the edge of my mouth stretches into a smile. Okay, I'll let you, I say. Eli beams back at me. I grab him by the sleeve and say, In that case, though, why don't you sit down? Like, let me think about what I want. Eli's mouth tugs into a small smile, and he sits back down in the seat across from me. I look at the menu hanging up behind the counter and let my eyes peruse through various soups and sandwiches. Suddenly, Eli scoots towards me and says,
Can I tell you something, Kelly Goldstein?
Yeah? What?
I feel like I've said something like it before, but what I said was probably a horrible understatement because I think you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my whole life.
I stop. My heart nearly stops too. I just stare at him for a second. It's like my brain broke or something. Finally, I stutter out, Eli, you retard, you don't say stuff like that to people. It's too... Eli's expression morphs with apology, and he bites his lip.
Too much?
He finishes. No, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just,
I'm sorry, Kelly Goldstein. I'll try my best to be more.
No. I find myself interrupting him. No, Eli, don't be more anything. I don't want you to. I like you. You know, the way you say things, but other people
Won't like it?
it's not that they won't like it, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's kind of overwhelming when you say stuff like that in a normal conversation.
Oh. Okay. What would be more acceptable then? Like if I wanted to get out that same thought.
Well, you could say, you look nice today, or I really like your, insert something nice you see here. Eli pauses for a second before he smiles.
All right,
He says.
Then you look nice today, Kelly Goldstein. I really like your head.
I put my hand on my face and start laughing. Gee, Eli, how could you still be getting this wrong? I ask him.
That wasn't right?
No, you weirdo. Like, who says I really like your head? What does that even mean?
Well, there's just so many things about your head that are nice looking. I couldn't choose one.
What? What do you mean?
Well, your hair is beautiful.
Eli starts. I blink back at him in shock. As I continue to look at him, he goes on.
I've always thought your hair is beautiful. But now that I can see all of it, all at once, all around your face, it's even more beautiful. And so is your face. And your tan skin. And the way you wear your earrings. And so is your nose, since it's so small and perfectly shaped. And so are your lips that I've never seen without lipstick, but that I feel privileged to see bare now. And so are your eyes. Your hazel eyes that look like magic and light and the shafts of sunshine coming down through the trees in some enchanted forest. Your eyes are just so hard to look at because they're so gleaming with life and brilliance and passion.
The world has stopped before when I've talked to Eli. But if it stopped before, it's nothing like how it's stopping now. It's almost like time itself is standing still. It's so weird, but surprisingly, I'm not blushing. Actually, as I was listening to him, I almost felt like, crying. He thinks all that about me? Really? Gradually, as I stare at him sitting across from me, I start to feel that feeling I felt when I watched him singing at the sink in his house. I swear it's not crushing. Okay, I don't think that I have to tell you that I've already kind of maybe been crushing on Eli for a bit. Maybe. But this feeling, it's not like that. It's different somehow. It's almost deeper or something. Eli? I whisper without meaning to whisper.
Kelly Goldstein?
He replies, eyes filling up with the love they filled up with on the stairs of that apartment. I start, but nothing comes out. I feel myself reach across the table to grab his hand, though. I put my hand in his, but he doesn't close his fingers around mine. He just continues to stare at me with love. I try again in vain. That's when it happens. Eli closes his fingers around mine. Ironically, this somehow kicks my brain back into gear. I say, shaking off the emotions pulsing through me. I pull my hand out of his grasp and finally push it all down with a reorienting scoff. Then I say, "You're getting overwhelming again, you dork. You've got to learn how to talk to people, okay?" Eli blinks at me, a little taken aback. He seems to reorient himself too, and he replies,
"Oh, okay. Sorry."
I give him a tug of a smile and go on. "Look, why don't you try that compliment again, okay? Try not to make it deep, just say something super casual." Eli pauses for a second, He pulls his face into a thinking face, and he glances up at me. He seems to get an idea and tries it out.
You look nice today, Kelly Goldstein. I really like your dress.
Better, I say through a relieved sigh. Eli smiles at me contentedly, but then when he told me actually registers. I blink at him before saying, "Wait a minute, you do?"
"Yes, I do,"
he answers with both shyness and warmth. "For real? I mean, you're not just saying that to get the compliment thing, right?"
"I did say it for that reason, but I really do mean it."
I smile back at him. I go back to looking at the menu on the wall behind the counter. Eli continues,
"It's a little different than all of the other things I've seen you wear. Where did you get it?"
"OMG, I say through a grin. "You'll never guess, I swear." Eli blinks at me. Then he sends me an unexpected, defiant smile. His smile becomes a grin as he pushes in his glasses and says,
"Try me, Kelly Goldstein."
I look at him. "What? What do you mean?"
"I bet I could guess where you got it if you let me try."
With a bit of surprise, I watch him smile at me.
"I bet I could,"
he repeats. I smirk at him and say, "Well, you seem really sure of yourself over there."
"I like to believe I can figure it out using a bit of deductive reasoning."
"Well, you like to believe that, but for real, there's no way you're gonna guess it right." Now Eli's smirking at me. He crosses his arms and leans back in the booth seat.
"Give me 3 tries, Kelly Goldstein. I'll guess it correctly by my 3rd attempt. Guaranteed."
"And if you get it wrong?" I ask him, raising an eyebrow.
"Then I lose,"
Eli responds simply.
"But I won't lose."
"What if you do?" I challenge him. Eli sends me a smug smile. He looks down and to the side, putting a hand in his chin. After a while, he snaps. He turns to me and says,
"How about this? If I can't get it right in 3 guesses, then I'll agree to do one thing you want me to do, without question or pause."
"One thing I want you to do." That doesn't sound like a very fun gamble.
"It can be anything,"
Eli insists with a smile.
"Anything, no matter how outlandish or embarrassing, and I will do it without question or pause."
I look at him for a second. It isn't long before I realize that I like his proposal, and I can feel myself starting to smirk. You know what? I'm glad I decided not to tell him about my sewing hobby yesterday. I mean, there's no way he's going to guess where I got this dress if he doesn't know about that. I've got this in the bag. "You're on, nerd," I say. Eli claps his hands once and rubs them together, looking way too excited and way too sure of himself.
"All right then, Kelly Goldstein," he grins. "The game is set."
I coyly lean on the table and raise an eyebrow at him. "So," I say, "what's your first guess, Eli who burns in the sun?" Eli rubs his chin and starts to think out loud.
"Well, let's see. It's old-fashioned, and I haven't seen a dress like that being sold in any mainstream stores, so... Thrift store?"
"Nope," I reply. "Guess again."
It may be old-fashioned, but it does look pretty new. I mean, it isn't worn or faded even a little bit, so maybe it's custom-made."
I feel a small twinge of nervousness when he says this. Oh no, maybe he will guess it right. Eli pauses for a second more before looking up at me and saying,
"A specialty store?"
I smile, both relieved and entertained. "Nope, wrong again," I say.
"What?"
Eli says, looking at me with such a kid-like disbelief it's goofy. "You've only got one more guess," I remind him.
All right, I'd better be careful then. Old-fashioned style. Brand new clothes. Not from a thrift store, not from a specialty store. Wait, he suddenly says, smacking his fist into his palm. Maybe I'm not thinking as outside of the box as I need to. Maybe it isn't from a store at all.
I sit up straighter with a bit of fear. Oh no, he's got it. I can see it in his face that he's got it. Eli breathes in to say it, but then he stops. He stares at me, and it isn't long before he bites his lip with uncertainty. He raises a dramatic eyebrow and goes back to rubbing his chin.
No, it couldn't be that. Could it?
He says.
Well, it could, but I don't know.
He hesitates, but after a minute he looks at me and asks,
Inherited from a grandmother?
I make a buzzing sound and give him a thumbs down. You lose, I tell him. Eli lets out a theatric but genuinely frustrated groan, falling back onto the booth seat and looking at me.
Oh no,
he says.
I didn't guess it. Where did you get it then?
I didn't get it anywhere. I grin. Eli blinks back at me, and his eyes start to widen in both surprise and anticipation.
No, don't tell me.
He starts. I made it. I finish for him.
Oh, no, that's what I was going to say, but I decided to go with my other guess. Oh man, I'm such a dolt.
For real? You were gonna guess that?
Yes, I was. My instincts were telling me that's what it was, but I ignored them like a plebeian.
Well, you lost, Eli, I say again, pursing my lips into a smile. Guess you're gonna have to make good on your promise.
Oh no, I am, aren't I?
He says, looking at me pathetically. He sighs out and smiles at me.
Well, a deal's a deal. What will you have me do, Kelly Goldstein?
I don't know yet, I tell him. Let me think about it a little.
All right.
He smiles back at me. He lets out a little groan at himself and looks away from me.
Now I know. From now on, I'm going to heed my initial instincts.
I stick my tongue out at him playfully, making him laugh. I go back to looking at the menu. My eyes finally spot the salads, and I start to sift through the various options. Then Eli lets out a small gasp. I turn to look at him to see that he's blinking at me with surprise. A very tiny smile starts to sneak into his surprise, and he pushes up his glasses as he continues to look at me. What? I say through a smirk.
You lied to me,
he says, shaking his head at me with fascination. What? What do you mean?
You do have another passion, Kelly Goldstein,
he says.
It's sewing.
I look at him with a bit of surprise, but then I turn towards him fully with a coy grin on my face. Not just sewing, I reply. It's anything and everything that has to do with needles, thread, beads, and yarn.
So, knitting?
Yep.
Crochet?
Mm-hmm.
Embroidery?
You bet. I smile. Eli leans back, staring at me with pleasant, totally open fascination. He straightens his glasses and goes on excitedly.
You didn't embroider those flowers on your dress, did you?
Oh, these? I say, looking down at the hem of my skirt. Yeah, I did. Do you like them?
Like them. Kelly Goldstein, the reason I went with the guesses I did was because they look so flawless. I thought they had to have been done by machine. That's amazing.
I stare at him for a second. The best blush ever starts to heat my cheeks. It's like a happy blush or something. Thank you, Eli, I say. That's so sweet of you. He beams back at me.
It's not sweet, Kelly Goldstein.
He replies matter-of-factly.
It's simply honest.
Okay, one of the best pauses in my life happens right after he says this. As I look at him, I feel the same way I felt when I saw the beach for the first time. Infinitely excited, enchanted, and so happy. After a second, Eli goes back to putting his chin in his hands and gazing at me. He doesn't say anything for a while, but eventually he asks,
So, do you know what you want, Kelly Goldstein?
Yeah. I grin after a minute. I think I finally do. It's so weird. Like, for some reason, I feel like I'm talking about something more than the salad.